Father Boniface Wimmer and his Bravarian monks are the group of German monks who will found the Amer-Cass congregation of American Benedictines. These are the monks and nuns who have this German heritage and this common core. Here you see a picture of Father Boniface Wimmer. He will be discussed both in this PowerPoint and this presentation, but also in a presentation entitled Temperance Flare, a Temperance Bishop, a Monk, and a Brewery, where a dispute between Father Boniface Wimmer and the first Bishop Michael O'Connor of Pittsburgh will be looked at. Father Wimmer came from the monastery of Metten in Germany. Here too there are some slides and some images showing the German Baroque style. But better images can be found also in the Temperance Flare PowerPoint and presentation. Here you see Holy Cross Monastery in Bavaria. This is where the sisters will come from and where they will get their heritage from. Though they are from a different monastery, they share the Bavarian and German heritage. This region of Germany is known for its beer. In fact, it holds two of the oldest breweries in the world, having continuous operation to the 1840s, not to the 1040s and the 1060s. They make a delicious beer, and in fact, because the beer was considered a proper work, during the Napoleonic closings of monasteries, these two were left open, allowing them to be continuously operational again from the 1000s. See some more about beer. Here is a picture from the book Letters of an American Abbot, which are letters of Father Wimmer, though they are somewhat edited to prevent scandal, because he was a strong and stern fellow. Here we see some images of St. Vincent's in the early years. This is 1846. St. Vincent's Parish was a parish of the Diocese of Pittsburgh, where Father Wimmer was asked to take on and to become pastor. He would transfer there after he thought Cambria County, Pennsylvania, was too cold and with too poor land to found a monastery. Here we see some more images showing the development of the university and the college that will be located with the monastery. Here we see the Abbey complex combined with a school building in a classic cloister pattern. This setup will last until the 1970s, when it will burn down. Here's another picture of Father Wimmer. Again, you see his age and the beards known in our congregation. So little facts about Father Wimmer. He was born in 1809 and died in 1887. He was a diocesan priest who eventually joined the Benedictine order once it was restored. He was a member of the Diocese of Regensburg. He participated in the restoration of the Benedictine order in Bavaria following the Napoleonic suppression. He was a parish priest for the Benedictine parishes. He taught in a Benedictine school, and he eventually would seek permission to come as a missionary to America, which at that time was considered a missionary territory, given its Protestant nature. Some of his favorite sayings are Omnio Sancte Pertinax. Apologize, it's been a while since I had Latin, which means always with holy persistence. And he also is favored for saying forward, always forward, very similar to the motto of Seton Hall. He was sub-prior, prior, abbot, and arch-abbot of St. Vincent, which means he was in control of the monastery for over 40 years. He was the man, the head honcho. Here we see Wimmer's idea that it is a privilege to come to the United States and to carry the Benedictine heritage to such a land, and that it is Christ who truly shall save souls, and the Benedictines who will help educate the poor. It should be noted that these pictures and these slides will be gone through relatively quickly, but a link and a presentation will be provided below. So Wimmer's plan for the Benedictine order in America. This can be said to be very active compared to contemplative, which we'll see comparing itself to the idea of Marty and the Swiss American congregation. So he wanted to establish monasteries as missionary and pastoral centers particularly for evangelization and education of immigrants and poor children. This came from his working in a minor seminary and his desire to create a minor seminary at the monastery. He established a major seminary eventually, which is still running to this day. He made a special effort to educate poor boys and orphans. If a person had the capacity to learn, he did not want lack of funds to be a stumbling block. In fact, I grew up in a Benedictine parish run by St. Vincent's, and to this day the parish has grants for education that are paid for by the parish collection for anybody that attends St. Vincent's. He provided education for non-priesthood candidates, but also for those who wished to seek the priesthood. And he replicated this plan of monastery, school, and parish all throughout his areas, most notably in New Jersey and Chicago and Minnesota. Here we see a picture of the early monks. This is just prior to the division of St. Mary's Abbey in Newark, as well as Belmont Abbey in North Carolina. Here you see another picture of St. Vincent's. And here is St. Vincent's today with its wonderful basilica, which was saved actually during the fire. This was the parish church that replaced the log cabin church that Father Wimmer had first come to. He made it very clear that the people should be involved in its building, and it is a marvelous structure, again receiving the rank of basilica. Here we see Collegeville, Minnesota, which is St. John's University, and St. John's Monastery, which is another monastery founded from Boniface Wimmer. Here we see Atchison, Kansas, and another university with another monastery. St. Mary's Abbey, Newark. This is St. Mary's Abbey today. Newark Abbey today. St. Mary's was transferred to Dumbarton Priory in the 1960s. Newark Abbey holds a primary school for education of children. Here you see St. Mary's Abbey in Morristown, New Jersey, which initially was a priory of St. Mary's Abbey in Newark. The title was transferred in the 1960s, and St. Mary's Abbey, Dumbarton, became the abbey, and Newark became the priory, dependent on the abbey. St. Mary's Abbey, Newark, in Morristown, New Jersey, runs Dumbarton School, which is a private prep school. See Belmont Abbey in North Carolina, which also has a school. St. Leo's Abbey in Florida, which has a university. St. Anselm College and Monastery in New Hampshire, which was founded from St. Mary's Abbey, Newark, which was an offshoot of St. Vincent's Arch Abbey in Pennsylvania, founded by Boniface Wimmer. Here again we see this tradition of abbey and school, of education, of this active apostolate. These monks in this congregation are less contemplative, more active, though times are changing, and with decreases in vocations and an aging population, more monks are in the choir than in the schools. St. Bernard's in Alabama, which also has an educational apostolate. St. Martin's. So we have this idea of action and contemplation, ora and labora, prayer and work, that takes on a unique charism inside the Amer-Cassinese Benedictines, these Bavarians. We see some interesting characters in this action that will push this idea of work, one being Oswald Moosmiller, who has the famous distinction inside the Benedictine order of having had his body grave robbed. He was buried in Minnesota, but the monks of St. Peter's Abbey in Saskatchewan, which he had founded, wanted his remains. So during World War II, they came over in a pickup truck and made them go away. They grave robbed him and snuck him across the border. See also St. Peter's College, again, this idea of education. Contemplation with the monastery and the office and the prayers and the breviary and everything that comes with the Psalter, But this idea of an active educational postulate and also farmland. You see St. Peter's, there is land coming back. You see all this land. There are much land. There's always work, physical labor, as described by the rule for the Bravarians. Again, ora, prayer, at labora, work, labor, sweat. Here is a list of the monasteries founded in the Bavarian congregation, the Amer-Cass congregation in the 19th century. It's important to note why it's called the Amer-Cass congregation. This again was Wimmer's sort of wit and cunning and desire for speed. The Cassinese congregation of Benedictines, their congregation, their constitutions, the governing rules that add rules to our rule, being that our rule was written in the 500s, and it's somewhat vague. The Holy See in Rome wishes for stricter guidelines. The Cassinese congregation out of Monte Cassino had their constitutions approved, just as St. Vincent's was being made an abbey. So they came up with the idea of, let this American congregation adopt the Cassinese constitutions, and then they can modify them as time goes on. And that's what we did. And with that, the Bravarians end.